You're listening to the AngryMarks Podcast Network. Den Zeit nach Strömningen in Celery.
Thank you very much for joining us on a special debut episode of AngryMarks Rewind. It's a new show here at AngryMarks.com. I'd like to thank the man in charge, Stevie J, for giving us this platform to talk about the shows that perhaps drew us in as fans, perhaps as young children, or perhaps as new fans, even as adults. We're going to talk about some of the glory years. We're going to talk about some of the great shows, maybe even some of the terrible shows. I can't do this show by myself. I've scoured the globe, and when I say the globe, I mean Twitter. I've gone so far as the confines of my own city. So, ladies and gentlemen, joining me on this adventure, the newest host of the AngryMarks podcast family. His name's Ryan Joseph. We're going to call him at Sneaky Cactus on Twitter. So give him a follow on Twitter at Sneaky Cactus. Ryan, how are you?
Not too bad, thanks. How about yourself?
Great. Like I said, this is the debut episode. This is a new thing that I guess we've decided to start doing. I live in nostalgia when it comes to pro wrestling. I'm not a big fan of the current product. So before we begin, tell us a little bit about yourself. Some of the listeners may know me from Mike Poulin's Ring of Honor pay-per-view reviews. This is your first time on the show. So,
yeah.
Hoping this will be a wonderful and prosperous relationship that will go as far as up to and including 500 episodes.
I like it. I like the way this is going. Well, I've been a fan of pro wrestling since I was probably about 5 years old now, and that's going on almost 20 years, I'd have to say. So I'm really excited to actually be going back and watching a few of these old gems and not so gemish videos or pay-per-views that we once grew up to love or hate. Depends how you look at it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, at the end of the show, we're going to give a plug for both myself and for Ryan again, and at which point we will decide what show we'll be reviewing next week. As of right now, I don't know what show Ryan has selected. I've tasked him with choosing next week's show, so we'll get to that. But right now, we're going to start with WCW's Halloween Havoc 1996. Now, Ryan, was this the first time you'd seen this show?
This is not the first time I've seen the show. I've seen the show live back when it was 1996. Definitely don't remember a lot of it, but it was it was interesting to say the least watching it again.
Yeah, this show at the time did approximately 250,000 buys for a .7 rating, which for WCW standards, mid-90s, it was sort of middle of the road number. This was coming off basically the formation of the NWO, which was at the time probably the hottest angle in 1996. And it was leading up to we were still at least about a year and a couple months away from WCW's biggest pay-per-view rating, which would have been Starrcade 97.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that was definitely the start to WCW taking off.
So the show opens with basically clips of Hulk Hogan's heel turn at Bash at the Beach the previous July, and basically forming the NWO. Our announcers for the opening match is Tony Schiavone, or as I used to call him, Tony Scavone.
Yeah, I think everybody did.
We got Bobby the Brain Heenan and Dusty Rhodes. Now, our opening match, Mike Tenay joined the broadcast. Up until this point, actually going back to the previous Nitro, they had talked about Randy Savage, who was the challenger for the world title here, kind of going a little bit squirrely, thinking, and the announcers were kind of thinking that he might just take this to a level where it wasn't supposed to go.
Yeah. It was definitely quite a build-up. I know they've been building this match up, I think it was like 10 months in the making, to be quite honest. And, it was interesting, that's for sure.
Our opening match of the evening is for the Cruiserweight title. It's Rey Mysterio Jr., who was the champion at the time, defending his title against Dean Malenko, who he had recently defeated at the Clash of the Champions event in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, the previous August.
Yeah, this actually was the fifth meeting between the two. They were both tied 2-2 going into this one, so good rubber match.
This is a match that I have very fond memories of. I thought this was the best match of the show. Thought Rey Mysterio basically making his debut in WCW in May of that year at the Great American Bash, I believe. And I had never seen him before that, so this was probably one of my favorite feuds of the year.
Yeah, they always put on some good matches, those two. I remember watching them quite a bit, and they never did you wrong, that's for sure.
So after Ray had won the title, Dean Malenko, I believe I was either on Nitro or on an episode of Saturday Night, had stolen Ray's mask. So as Dean is walking down the aisle, he has the mask in his possession. Ray comes out, and at the time, all of WCW's events had these themed, very, very elaborate sets. So, of course, the Halloween Havoc had all the tombstones and the coffins, and it was a very cartoony type set. So it was funny watching Malenko walk down the aisle. As he's making his entrance, he looks to his left and looks to his right. So, the fuck did I get myself into here?
Yeah, well, they called him the Iceman for a reason, eh?
They built Rey Mysterio from Tijuana, which was an outright lie.
Yeah.
Why don't we just, why don't you go through the match, and then we'll just sort of take turns giving our thoughts on this.
Well, Dean didn't even wait for the bell to start. He just came out swinging right away, and he didn't even give Ray a chance. It was okay at first. There was a weird part right at the beginning there where Ray gets rolled up in a cloverleaf, and he rolls out of it. He gets up, and then randomly they both kind of like go to attack each other, but then Ray decides to just kind of like grab his head and stumble off to the side. I thought there must have been a botch somewhere in there.
Yeah, that seemed very uncharacteristic of Ray, and especially since these guys had been working the loop for most of the year.
Yeah, right. And yeah, so I found that to be a bit of a strange part. Other than that, there was a few good spots. Ray hit a good somersault senton splash to get his mask back. So once he got that mask back, he definitely went right back into Superman mode.
So after Ray does his over the top flip, he gets his mask back, and Dean gets the heat with a drop kick from the top rope, and he's working over the left leg.
Yep.
Dean hits a superplex for a 2, and Ray landed right on his head on that superplex. Do you see how he just sort of like landed right on the back of his skull?
Yeah, that looked like a pretty awful shot there, but he got up and stayed in it, so, kudos to him for keeping at her on that one.
Yeah, Malenko with a rare ring awareness issues, as he has him in a camel clutch. He doesn't know where the hard camera is, so we get a nice shot of the back of Malenko until the handheld camera pans around.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan had some gems on this show. He said of Ray, "Oh, he's so tired he can't grow hair." One thing Ray did after he got the mask back that Malenko had stolen, Dean's on the outside, and Ray decides he's going to take off the mask that he came to the ring with and change into the one that Dean stole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He did that pretty cleverly, too, without really revealing a lot of his face, I noticed.
I guess Tenay was trying to explain that was the mask that he initially won the Cruiserweight title with, so there was some sentiment to that mask.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Dean clamps on a sleeper with a body lock, which had me thinking, when was the last time anybody won with a sleeper?
Yeah, back in the day, I think there was probably quite a few sleeper holds that took guys out, but obviously to this day that rarely happens. I
think Bruce Beefcake beat the Genius at the 1990 Royal Rumble with the sleeper. That's as far back as I can go.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So Dean hits this release Northern Lights suplex, and Ray just flung and just landed right on his shoulder. There was a lot of torque on that suplex. Dean was just kind of ragdolling him for most of the last part of this match.
Yeah, and there was also a spot where Dean went to throw Mysterio onto the ropes and pretty much almost missed the whole ropes, and Mysterio almost landed right on his skull.
Yeah, it looked like
that was always exciting.
He was trying to do a slingshot, but with a standard slingshot, you land a guy's stomach first, but I think he just kind of picked him up in a vertical suplex position and then just threw him so his knee hit the cable.
Yeah, and I'm sure that left a mark.
Like, that sucks to be him.
Yeah, it really does.
So Dean countered a springboard senton with a sit-out powerbomb for a 2, which still looked great. And then the ending came with Dean was perched on the top rope, and Ray went to go for a head scissor. Dean grabbed him in a fireman's carry. So from the second rope, he powerbombed him for the 3. And again, if you watch that powerbomb in slow motion, he just ragdolled Ray. His arms were flailing hither and yon. He looked like a Raggedy Ann doll. And Dean Malenko is your new Cruiserweight champion for the 3rd time.
Yeah, it was a nice gut-wrench powerbomb from there. He landed pretty rough on his knees by the looks of it, but you know what? All in all, it was actually a really good match.
It was a great opener. It got the crowd going. Dean's not really a heel. He's not really a babyface. They kept talking about how he was just he was all business, and he doesn't really break the rules, but he's not one that the fans are really cheering. But he would go on later on in that year to have some great matches with Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho. So we got some good things looking forward to with Mr. Malenko.
Yeah, definitely. Man with 1,000 holds.
So we got Lee Marshall in the back, and he's about to interview Jeff Jarrett, and Marshall's calling the Giant, who was Jarrett's scheduled opponent, the biggest man in the history of the sport. Outright lie number 2.
Yeah, 2 for 2 on the night.
The scheduled match was supposed to be the Giant versus Ric Flair for the U.S. title, but Flair, I don't know if he had just come off shoulder surgery or if he was scheduled to get the surgery, but he was taken out of this match.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he was coming off surgery.
So we have Flair, who will be in the corner of Jeff Jarrett. Flair comes in. They do a typical Flair promo, and so we got Diamond Dallas Page versus Eddie Guerrero in a battle for the Battle Bowl ring. Ryan, what do you know about the Battle Bowl ring?
To be quite honest, not too much. All I know is this match was very disappointing considering the 2 people that were in it.
Battle Bowl ring was, I suppose it was supposed to be a title or a championship. It's literally a ring. It's like a championship ring. And Page won that back at Slamboree when he won the Battle Bowl match. That was a terrible show.
Yeah.
If you've selected Battle Bowl for next week's viewing, we're going to have a problem.
I guess we're done at 1.
But, like you said, based on the 2 competitors, you would have thought that this would have been a bit of a better match. But I think Eddie got hurt halfway through. He was holding his ribs for much of it. This is the first appearance of Nick Patrick in the neck brace. And this was a whole storyline that was going on throughout the show. There was talk about whether or not Nick Patrick was on the take with the NWO, but he was trying to be a heel ref without actually, being a full heel.
Right, yeah.
I want you to take us through this one.
Well, to be quite honest, the first thing that I noticed right off the hop, which was probably the most exciting part about this whole match, was Eddie rocking the dirty stash and the mullet.
This was when he was going through his cab driver look.
Oh man, he had just the greasiest mullet and stash to go with it. It was amazing. And he looked good too. This was definitely, before the roids kicked in and everything like that. He was looking pretty solid.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, the match itself was very lackluster for me. There wasn't very much excitement in it. There was a few high spots. DDP dropped Eddie right on his junk using the ropes at one point, and we all know that's probably got hurt.
Yeah, I think it was at this point where I noticed the commentators were starting to not get along with each other.
I think the Dream and Bobby Heenan were really going at it.
Yeah, during a side headlock spot, it didn't take Shivani long to subtly tell Dream not to tell him how to do his job. Because you could clearly hear Tony saying, "I can see that on my monitor too."
Yeah, I remember that.
Fuck off, you bloody redneck! I know what I'm doing. I love Dusty, but this was an era where he was not a great commentator at all. Page hit Eddie with a gut wrench gut buster, and the commentators are asking where the ring is, and Bobby's like, "Well, gee, I hope the Guerreros get a color TV next year." And Dusty says, "That was a bad pun." No, Dusty, that is not a pun. You don't know what a pun is.
Well, he tried his best, I guess.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, I'm not too sure he did either. I was just trying to give him a little bit of credit on this match. I feel like the announcers even got bored watching this, that they had to just shoot back and forth.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of expectations, even with the announce crew. Did you notice the Chris Farley kid in the front row?
Yeah. He was there all night, and boy, was it amazing.
So Paige is on the floor. Eddie hits a top rope cross body to the floor, and as Eddie's getting up, there's a kid, and if you watch any amount of Nitro, you know that there's this one child in that era, and he's affectionately known as the Chris Farley kid. He's a rather portly child. I would go so far as to say malnourished. And he has the Chris Farley bowl haircut, and he is having just the best time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all had that bowl haircut at that time.
He's appeared on a couple Nitros. He's appeared on some pay-per-views. He's like WCW's Vladimir back in the day, if you remember him.
Oh, yeah. I remember him. Yeah.
The finish comes, Paige hits a version of the Styles Clash and a spinning powerbomb for a 2, and he's starting to get a little frustrated because at this point, Nick Patrick is, his counts for Eddie are becoming much, much more slow, and Paige grabs him, sets him up for the Diamond Cutter, has him in that cravat. Time passes. He hits the Diamond Cutter. He pins him, and Nick Patrick counts the 3.
Yeah.
That's a very low energy finish.
It was bad. I definitely rated this one the lowest out of all the matches on the card. And it's a shame considering it's DDP and Eddie, you know what I mean? Like, they put on great matches, and this wasn't very good at all.
I don't even think this led anywhere, because this was kind of the start of DDP's face turn.
Right.
I forget who he worked at Starrcade. I guess we could go back and look, but I'm too lazy. So, this is the type of crack journalism you're going to get here at the AngryMarks Rewind.
All the best for you people. All the best for you people.
Nothing but the best.
Nothing.
So the network version cuts out the replay of Nick Patrick faking going into his pocket and picking up the ring. So this basically ends the story of the Battle Bowl ring, and it's like it didn't lead to anything. It didn't grant him a title shot or anything.
No, it was pretty much just a pointless ring.
What did it get him?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he got the power from Mordor or something like that. I don't know. For all you people that, maybe watch The Hobbit or any of that stuff, you might get it.
The previous Nitro, as we discussed, Randy Savage, right before the Go Home show, was kind of going a little bit nutty, a little bit squirrely, a little bit psycho. And, God, what happened there? Ryan,
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. That's God telling us to skip this segment.
Was that the Slim Jim sweepstakes?
This was the Slim Jim sweepstakes.
You know how upset I was? Because honestly, watching this, I honestly thought I had a chance. I was like, oh man, my name's gonna get called and I'm gonna win myself a big monster truck and this is gonna be the greatest thing ever. And I totally forgot that it was 1996 and my time passed on that one and I was very upset when my name did not get called.
You were legitimately surprised when you did not win.
I honestly, at first, was really excited, thinking, holy crap, I hope I win this. And then realized that I am living in the past, and that I was not entered in that.
We could go back, and we could enter again, I suppose. You can call the hotline.
Yeah, call the hotline, yeah.
Part of me wants to call the hotline now and see what number comes up. It's probably some porn site.
I would imagine it probably is, or one of those dating sites like farmersonly.com or something like that.
Yeah, why are we limiting it to just farmers?
I don't know. Yeah, good question.
And if a rancher goes on there, are the rest of the farmers going to say, get off the site, you're using up the bandwidth?
Oh, I bet you they're not even allowed on there. I bet you they're already blocked.
We could start something here. I
think we just found ourselves another project.
So the go-home show for Nitro, Randy Savage was about to murder Hulk Hogan. He was depressed. He was sad. They took his money. They took his woman. He's been beaten up on a regular basis. But here, he's just happy, snapping to it, Slim Jim Randy Savage. And boy, was the Slim Jim brand all over the show.
I honestly did not notice it once on there.
Stand for sarcasm.
Yeah.
We're clean. All right.
Yeah, we're clean. Woo.
So some woman from Michigan wins the truck. This was not on the video release. This, which was kind of funny because later on in the show, spoiler alert, they bring out the monster truck, and Tony announces that, some young lady from Michigan won this truck, and then 2 seconds later you could hear someone yelling in his ear. It's like, oh no, I guess she didn't win. They won a street legal version of this truck.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you just won actually a Slim Jim. Box of Slim Jim.
Right. So after the monster truck draw, we get Mike Tenay with another interview section saying that you can listen to Halloween Havoc on the internet. If you're 1996 and you've already paid to watch the show on pay-per-view, wait a minute, I can listen to just the audio on the internet. Screw this TV bullshit.
Oh, yeah, where's my dial-up? So better get that connected.
They pan to a Windows 95 laptop that probably weighed about 30 pounds, and there was about 7 windows open. And they were displaying the wonderful-looking WCW website, which appeared to have been made in Netscape Navigator by a 13-year-old. They then cut to an internet nerd who's taking questions for Chris Jericho. And
that was actually painful to watch. Because Jericho looked so confused on what was happening.
He looked really bored.
I mean, he looked like, I don't know. It was something else.
So the announcers are plugging the internet website, and over their talking, you could hear Jericho in the background, giving his answer to the internet geek, who said he was watching lots of tapes of 6. Oh my God, I feel old now.
Oh yeah, that good old VHS, boy.
Yep.
You know what? This pay-per-view made me feel old going back and watching it.
The thing about this show is that I had originally recorded it on VHS, but if you're old like us and you recorded on VHS tapes, you knew that there's 3 settings on your VCR. There's ET, which is 6 hours, but it's very low quality, and SP, which is only 2 hours, and it's got really good quality. So I remember recording this show on SP, which means I missed the main event.
Oh, yeah. That's rough.
So thank God for Blockbuster Video.
Thank God. Where are you now?
We get Mike Tenay interviewing the new Cruiserweight champion Malenko. He says, I'm the champ. I'm going to, whatever. Open challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that exciting of an interview, to be honest. But, I mean, what do you get from Malenko? He's not very exciting when he's talking.
He's a black hole of charisma.
Yeah.
We had our first appearance of the New World Order with the Giant taking on Jeff Jarrett. Their entrance ramp was not a ramp. It was the top. It looked like the top of the 200 section. And they had about 1,000 stairs to get down.
Yeah, it was... I don't know what was up with that. I don't think they did that every pay-per-view. I don't recall if this was the only one that they did something like this on, but it felt like it took forever for them to get down there.
Bit of a trivia note here for you. Did you know this is Virgil's WCW debut?
I did not. I did notice him a few times on there not doing anything but standing there.
So he went from standing and doing nothing in WWF to standing and doing nothing in WCW.
Yeah, probably got paid an extra $1 or $2. I'm sure he could use it now.
And you know what? That's the shitty part about this. Is he was probably making like $175,000 a year.
Oh, for sure.
For what did he do?
I don't remember much of what he did, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Well, at least not until the NWO split, which comes around mid-1998. So we may hit that eventually.
We'll get there.
I can't wait.
Yeah, me neither. I'm really licking my chops on that one.
I can't wait to call a Stevie Ray versus Scott Norton match.
Oh, you know what? I think I might have just changed my whole pay-per-view.
So the Giant is currently in possession of Ric Flair's U.S. title, And they stroll down. Giant did have a really good line during his pre-match promo, talking about the Horsemen and how old they are, and how he said that everyone goes to the glue factory.
Yeah, I did like that. It was really clever for him to throw that one out there about them.
Yeah. So for the second match in a row, Nick Patrick is still the referee. So are we sure he's not aligned with the NWO at this point? I don't know. Jarrett comes down, and I don't know about you, but Jeff Jarrett's WCW music just makes me want to stand up and boogie.
It really did, yeah. It really brought back how much I actually enjoyed watching Jarrett.
I can't say I enjoyed him. He just seemed like a guy that was better than his push was better than he was.
His push was definitely better than he was, but back in '96 at the time, he put on some pretty decent matches. I mean, now I would not care to watch him, but at the time he did throw on some decent stuff, and I think his music alone is what caught me.
It's a very happy, it's a happy country jam.
It really is, and I really do enjoy country, so it caught me jigging a little bit there.
So not a whole lot of this match. There's a lot of, Jarrett is, ducking and jiving for the first little while, and just out of nowhere, Flair just grabs the microphone and just tells Jarrett to kick his ass now. Yeah. Not later, now. It's like,
actually,
thank God you're there, Rick, because he would have had no idea what to do.
No, he was just running around just trying to figure out what was going to happen. How do I tire this guy out?
The other stars of this show, as far as the fans go, were the gentleman right in front of the hard camera with the sunglasses and the white Papa Shango sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah.
This guy was so happy to see the Giant. Him and his buddy were doing all kinds of chokeslam gestures. They were having a great time, and they were only probably 8 beers in.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they probably drank quite a bit during that DDP and Eddie match. What else are you going to do during that thing?
Yeah. So walk us through the close here, because like I said, there's not much to this one.
No, there really wasn't much. The one part I will say that was probably my favorite part of this whole thing. I can't remember what happened, but I think the Giant tossed Jarrett around, and then all of a sudden you hear Tony Schiavone. He just says, "Hello, that hurt." That's what he said. And it's like, that's what he said? What? Like, I'm confused by this one.
Years of broadcasting, and that's what we get.
Yeah. Well, hello, that hurts. Yeah, that's what he said. Well, good job, man. You really earned your buck on that one.
High spot for me in this one. Jarrett hit 2 really nice-looking drop kicks right into Giant's face, flush. So,
yeah,
dude could get some height.
He really did get a lot of height on that one, which was kind of surprising considering that the Giant's, 7 feet tall, they say?
Well, he's 7'9" and 1,300 pounds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But the match pretty much ended. Jarrett attempted to go for a figure 4, and then he got sent outside. The Giant ended up following him out there, and Ric Flair comes from behind and gave him a low blow and forced the DQ.
Right in front of the referee.
Right in front of the referee. No sneaking about it.
So that just showed you how important they thought this match was.
Yeah. And before anything could even happen, the 4 Horsemen stormed out before the NWO could even maybe get an attack going on. So, I mean, it was cool to see that kind of happen, where instead of everybody attacking the guy and then your team coming out, it was nice to have your team come out first before anything bad happened. Because you don't see that anymore.
No, it's usually after they take a shit kicking for about, 5 straight minutes that, their friends come out.
Exactly, and then something happens. But it was nice to see the reversal on that one and have, the 4 Horsemen come out and make sure NWO didn't come messing shit up.
Did you notice a lot of boos for the Horsemen during this segment?
Yeah. I don't know if I guess at the time this is when NWO was on top.
Well, now, do you think it was for the Horsemen or was it for Jarrett specifically?
Yeah. You know what? It very well could have been Jarrett.
Because he was never. I don't think he was ever really over, and even when he was, sort of deemed a Horseman,
Right.
So
I don't think Jarrett was ever over until he became fucking going around with the Slapnuts guitar.
the chosen one.
The chosen one. I don't think he was really over until then. And even then, I don't even know if he was really over.
So see, this is an important journalistic news that we forgot to mention. There were 2 dark matches before the opener.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this, but we have to talk about Jim Powers beating Pat Tanaka, and a tag team match of Psychosis and Juventud Guerrera defeating Damien and Halloween. Halloween does the job at Halloween Havoc. What the hell?
Yeah.
That tag match was probably pretty good.
Oh, probably. I wish they would have showed it, to be quite honest, because who doesn't like Psychosis and Juventud?
I can't think of anyone.
Exactly. I would have been all for one, Psychosis dancing with his little chair.
Oh, well, that was La Parka.
Ah, God, that was La Parka.
But the two of them did often team up. And when I purchased my N64 and bought WCW Revenge, the very first match I ever played on that was a tag match with La Parka and Psychosis.
Yeah, La Parka was probably one of my favorite cruiserweights.
So, sorry, I promised Stevie J I'd throw in some retro video game jabber here and there. So, there you go.
Well, he's in luck because I have that game among the other NWO versus the World games and everything like that for my 64 kicking around somewhere here.
Holy shit. My weekend is planned, brother.
I was going to say we might have to get together and have some beers and play some 64.
Oh, yeah, I guess we didn't talk about, I, of course, as the ROH, fans of this website know, I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and as I was looking for a co-host for this show, you and I had started following each other on Twitter probably a couple months ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, something about that.
And then I was like, oh, he's posting Winnipeg Jet stuff, because this is right in the heart of the NHL playoff run. And I looked, and sweet Jesus, my co-host lives in Winnipeg too. Winnipeg's taking over.
Better believe it, people. We already got Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega taking over, so why not 2 others? Speaking
of, the next match on this show, we have Chris Jericho versus Six, which of course is the Sean Waldman 1-2-3 Kid, whatever you want to call him. This is the second time that DiBiase is cutting another promo from the top of the stands. Six takes the mic and does a pre-match promo calling Jericho a fine young athlete. Jericho is 2 years older than Waltman.
I didn't understand that one.
So Six says you're NWO for life, which means that he still is.
Yeah.
When they do Jericho's entrance, what I noticed is that a lot of Jericho's WCW matches they have overdubbed with his Y2J theme, but in this they had his first WCW babyface theme. So that was kind of a nice surprise.
It really caught me off guard too, because I was expecting like a Y2J, like break the walls down, because that's what you remember hearing with him. And when that hit, I was just like, who the hell's coming out right now? And then Jericho came out, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so Nick Patrick is again the referee for the 3rd match in a row, and they do a really quick sequence to start, as you would expect these 2 guys to do. They had worked. Was this the first time they had worked together?
I believe so.
I know that they would work with each other in WWE in 2001-ish. But I think this was definitely, I think, the first high-profile match they had against each other.
Yeah.
So the camera pans to the crowd, and we see members of the Dungeon of Doom, Kevin Sullivan, Conan, and Big Bubba. And at this point, we're not quite sure why they're there. I guess it's assumed that they're there to just watch WCW's back against the NWO.
Yeah.
One thing I always love about Jericho is that even in these formative years, he'll still throw a hold on a guy, and he'll yell to the ref, "Ask him, ref."
Yeah.
It's such a cool, old school thing to do.
Oh, the charisma out of that guy is just unreal.
Yeah. So Jericho's draped outside the ring. Six hits an elbow from the middle rope. onto the floor to the outside. Jericho starts his comeback with a big back body drop, and that's another thing you don't really see a whole lot nowadays. It's just a nice, simple back drop. It's a good thing to get the crowd going. It's a nice babyface pop, and I wish more people would do that.
Yeah.
So he hits the lion salt. The ref at this point, his counts for the babyfaces are super slow.
And they get slower every time.
They get slower for Jericho every time. Out of nowhere, Six hits a spin kick, and he gets a win with what appears to be a relatively fast count from the referee.
Yeah, the count was definitely a really quick 1, 2, 3 compared to the probably 5-second 2 count that Nick Patrick gave Jericho after that lion salt. And then, of course, had to hold your neck. You got to sell that your neck's sore.
So I did some research on the win-loss record of Chris Jericho in these sort of early WCW years. In his first, 9 pay-per-view matches, how many do you think he won?
Oh man, you know what? 2.
Very close. Between September 15th, 1996 and February of 1997, he was in 9 pay-per-view singles matches, and he only won 3 of them.
Oh, wow.
And the first one was to Nick Patrick, which was at the World War III pay-per-view.
There's a win that you're glad that you have on your record.
But no, he's had losses to Benoit, Masachono, Eddie Guerrero twice, Alex Wright, and so I don't think they had a whole lot of stock in him as a singles guy, in the late 90s. So it wasn't until I think he did his heel turn, and that's when he really started to pick up some steam, and he actually started to mean something around there. But by that point, the writing was on the wall, and he was pretty much done.
Yeah, it was a little late at that point, and WCW missed out on a gem to help carry that franchise, and they screwed that one up. That's for sure.
Talk about Lex Luger and Mike Tenay.
Oh God, that was rough. Like Luger, that mullet too of his. Like, you know what? I will say this: going back and watching this pay-per-view, the hair style was unreal, and it really brought me back to when I maybe once had a mullet. I'm not too sure if it was a real mullet or not. We'll ask my parents on that one. But the promo was okay.
It was humid in Vegas.
Yeah, you could tell. Luger was dripping.
His hair was kind of all over the place, and the previous month's pay-per-view War Games, Luger was talking about how Arn Anderson was blaming him for taking the loss. Then he goes on talking about gardens and cactuses and thickets, and he loses his train of thought for a second. I think Lex is the king of losing your track, like losing track during a promo.
Mm-hmm.
Said, you've questioned my internal fortitude, you've questioned and tested and questioned. And then,
well, he'll eventually get there.
Did you ever see the Lex Luger t-shirt promo?
You know what? Probably, but I honestly probably don't. I don't even remember it.
The one where he's at an indie show and some little local clown announcer is hyping up a match between him and Ron Killings.
Right.
Do yourself a favor and Google that afterwards. We can discuss that next week.
Oh, most certainly will.
All we know is that Lex is just the king of promos.
Now I can't wait to watch this.
Lex and Arn Anderson. So Anderson goes on the offense early. Schiavone calls Arn's punches patented moves because no one has thrown punches except for Arn.
No, well,
so they're patented moves.
Yeah, This was actually a really good slugfest.
Yeah, both the guys were working over each other's backs. Lex with lots of press slams, clotheslines to the outside. At this point, you can audibly hear Kevin Sullivan cheering on Luger from the stands, so we know that their feud with the Horsemen is going to ramp up a bit.
Yeah.
Anderson didn't get a whole lot of offense in this until he hit a spinebuster, close to the end.
Yeah, that was I love his spine buster. It's definitely one of the best in the game. That's for sure.
It's one of those iconic moves, and now anytime anyone does it, they have to reference Arn.
Every single time.
Arn throws Lex outside and immediately gets popcorn thrown on him. I don't know if he caught that or not, but
it was actually funny. Like when back in WCW, actually, I am pretty sure they did it in WWF too. Where the fans threw all sorts of shit inside the ring.
Well, Bischoff used to not verbally say it, but he would encourage guys to throw shit in the ring because then that would get the heels over.
Right, which makes total sense.
Safety.
Yeah, that's for pussies.
It's like back in the day when they used to throw batteries and squirt Drano at the heels with squirt guns.
Oh, yeah. See, come on. If you're a heel, you got to be able to take that.
So the finish comes when Arn tries a DDT. Lex holds onto the ropes. Lex runs into the referee, who's it's not Nick Patrick at this point. We have a new referee. He's
is it Mark Curtis? I think it is.
I think so. Yeah, all 80 pounds of him.
Yeah, that's all in his mustache, though.
Oh man, you talk about hair.
Yeah,
Brian Hildebrand had some hair.
He sure did.
That curl was awesome.
Yeah.
He was totally Memphis, that guy.
Oh, for sure. I wish I could have hair like that right now.
What are you drinking there?
I'm just drinking a water right now.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I got beer downstairs.
Thought it was going to be a little bit more exotic.
Well, it could be. Maybe there's vodka in there. I'm not too sure. We'll see how the rest of this goes, and if I start slurring my words, then we'll know.
Kayfabe, brother. So both dudes are on the outside, and they take turns trying to swing a chair at each other. Arn misses. Lex does not. He nails him a couple times. Looked like some real brutal chair shots, and even though they were probably fairly safe, Arn was really good at selling them.
Oh yeah.
Throws him in the ring. Throws on the rack. He gives up. Lex doesn't let go. Kevin Sullivan's having an orgasm in the front row. Just he's so happy that one of the horsemen is being taken out.
Yeah.
And Arn does the stretcher job on the way out.
Yeah, and then you later on hear that Arn leaves the arena in an ambulance to the hospital with Ric Flair accompanying him to the hospital. So there's two horsemen that were definitely knocked out, and I'm pretty sure Jarrett went with them.
Foreshadowing.
So so you got three guys out.
Okay. Now is the real main event.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present Steve McMichael and his unknown partner. Wait, no, we're allowed to say his name, right?
Of course we are.
It's been a bunch of years. So Chris Benoit and Steve McMichael versus the faces. I almost said Powers of Pain. The Faces of Fear, Ming and Barbarian. Did you know
this was a really good match?
This was 1996. You know Ming worked a match this past weekend?
I did. It was really good too. He still looks good for his age.
I don't want to mess with this fella.
No, me neither. I didn't want to mess with him back then, and I still don't want to mess with him now. He still scares the shit out of me.
So the best spot of the night so far was it was Mongo McMichael almost falling over during a stomp. Yeah, he went to go stomp on Barbarian's stomach and just about fell down.
Yeah.
So, good job. We got Benoit and Barbarian just beating the piss out of each other. There's a super intense exchange between the two. Mongo goes into football stance because that's what Mongo does, and he takes out Ming low. Ming then decides that he's going to do his sumo stance and just starts chopping the piss out of Mongo.
Yeah.
Mongo comes back with not the worst drop kick I've ever seen in the world, but it wasn't great.
No, he got about like stomach height on that one.
Benoit comes in and they start chopping. Benoit and Ming start chopping each other to death. And then it was that cool. The Faces of Fear hit a cool double team backdrop powerbomb onto Benoit.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Barbarian hits this gigantic top rope not really a belly-to-belly suplex, but more of just like a Beal.
He threw Benoit like across the ring on that one. And like he slid from one corner to the other.
Can't really do this justice. You guys need to go back and watch this. He literally threw him, and I'm sure Benoit helped a little bit, but still, the visual of Benoit flying literally 3/4 of the way across the ring is pretty impressive.
And don't forget, you also have a mullet flowing through the air along with Benoit in this one. That is almost the best part of the whole thing, is just that flow of the mullet just going.
It's like an ocean wave.
Yeah, it was something else.
There's no seagulls that are coming by.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Faces of Fear, they hit a double top rope headbutt. For some reason, Mongo just standing on the apron allowing this to happen.
Yeah, I didn't understand that either, why I didn't go in and try to help him. I noticed, too, that Benoit took a lot of the double teaming, which I guess, the smaller guy, it looks better.
Well, and plus, are you going to trust Mongo at this point? Mongo at this point had only been wrestling for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Are you going to trust him to take that backdrop powerbomb?
Definitely not.
So the Faces of Fear hit the double top rope headbutt, and they go for a cover. Mongo pulls Benoit out of the ring. Ming's the back of Ming's head is exposed, and Mongo just cranks this poor fucker in the back of the head with the Halliburton briefcase that he's still carrying with him.
Yeah.
And there was no protecting this shot. He nailed him right square in the back of the head.
It was a loud shot. He cracked him.
Yeah. And he could have got the pin right there, but Benoit decided, no, I got to get my shit in, so he did his top rope headbutt.
Yep.
For the win. And then all hell broke loose. The Dungeon of Doom members that were previously sitting at ringside, they all come barreling into the ring. Ming hits Mongo with a dope pile driver right on the briefcase. Benoit's fighting them off 1-on-4, but he eventually gets overtaken. And
he did pretty good though. He did pretty good considering that it was like 1-on-4 or 1-on-5 or whatever it was. He laid some people out, but yeah, it didn't last very long.
And I guess this was to progress the storyline of Kevin Sullivan along with Benoit and the woman. That was kind of uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess, as a wrestling fan, are you able to at this point, it's been 11 years, are you able to separate Benoit the wrestler and Benoit the person?
For sure. I've always been a big fan of Chris Benoit. Like what happened is definitely a very tragic thing, and I don't wish that upon anybody. But, you know what? I will give credit where it's due, and Benoit was a hell of a wrestler.
Yeah, I think, for the longest time, I found myself unable to watch a lot of Benoit stuff, and then, a couple of years ago, I'd go back and I'd watch his Royal Rumble match with Angle, and, some of his Japan stuff, and I don't know. He's one of those guys that if you're a wrestling purist and you can separate the two, you're going to be fine. But there's still going to be people that how can you watch that? How can you? But what can you do? You're not going to please everybody.
Well, exactly. And you know what? For the people that don't like it, don't watch it. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple, just don't watch it if you're not into it or you have a problem with it. Like me for one, I enjoy watching his matches regardless. Like it's been 11 years, so it's time to let it go.
Well said. We got some tag titles on the line. Harlem Heat, the champions, taking on Hall and Nash, the outsiders. Nash and Hall were super over with this crowd. I think as heels, they were the most popular. They were like the cool baby faces.
That's when it was cool to cheer for the bad guys.
Which then, because of that, it made Harlem Heat the de facto heels, basically.
Yeah. Well, and it was weird because it was supposed to be heel versus heel. I mean, that's what it turned into, but it really was NWO, like the outsiders. They were pretty much the baby faces in this match.
Harlem Heat come out wearing some dope 90s fire jackets with the sleeves had all kinds of holes in them. It was
classic.
Oh, it was the worst case of moths I've ever seen.
And then you had Sister Sherry with them.
Yeah, she was kind of a non-factor in this sort of storyline. I guess the backstory with this is that both Sister Sherry and Colonel Rob Parker were accompanying Harlem Heat, and there was a romantic relationship between Parker and Sherry. And long story short, Parker basically, cost Heat the titles.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of chance during this match of Razor and Diesel. It's at this point where there appears to be some sort of fight in the crowd. Everyone stops what they're doing, and they're watching this fight in the crowd, and then they cheer when security takes these guys away.
Yeah, I really wish the camera would have panned to that one. Would have been interesting to see.
So
it could have been a beach ball.
I don't know, beach balls. They didn't become popular until Cesaro did his beach ball gimmick.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
One thing I liked the commentators, and what they did here is they referred to the championship as the World Tag Team Championship, and I always thought that always sounded far more legitimate than, say, the WWF Tag Team Championship.
Yeah.
In the early 80s, they would always refer to it as the World's Heavyweight Championship, not like the WCW Championship, and I always thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, it made it seem like they were worth more than just, your in-house championship belt.
So, Scott Hall hits his second row bulldog on Stevie Ray for a 2. Sherry gets on the apron, and Hall starts giving her the eye. And Sherry just hauled back and slapped this guy, and that was probably the stiffest shot of the whole match.
Yeah, it really was. Like she got a hold of him on that one. You see spit fly and another mullet go flying. And
then Hall, the good heel that he is, does the nice babyface spot and gives Sherry a great big kiss right in front of Colonel Rob.
Lucky guy.
Who Rob was so animated, and he was such a cartoon character. I always loved him.
Yeah, he was good.
So what happened? Walk us through the finish here.
Well, the finish here, we got you had Harlem Heat. They ended up hitting with the Harlem Hangover, but for some reason, the ref decides to check on Booker and to see if he was okay and help him out of the ring, which I found kind of odd considering he wasn't the legal man. And you had Stevie Ray pinning, I think it was it Nash at the time? I think it was Nash.
I think it was Hall.
It was Hall.
Hall was the one that got hit with the hangover.
It was Hall. That's right.
I watched that. It's like, that looks like a really unsafe move.
It really does. And then when the ref was kind of like, helping Booker get up and get out of the ring and everything like that, I found that to be a really weird spot because, that never happens. Right. And especially when you got Stevie Ray trying to pin Hall. And so while that's happening and the ref's back is, clearly turned, the Colonel gets in the ring and tries to take a swing at Nash. Well, that didn't work out too well for him. So Nash ended up stealing his cane and just cracked Stevie Ray a couple times. I mean, not hard, but
he didn't really have to steal it. I think Parker kind of gave it to him.
Is that what it was? Because it looked like he just kind of...
You can see in the replay, Hall is like doing like the finger gesture. It's like, give it up, give it to me, give it to me. And Parker just handed him the cane out of pure fear. And I thought Nash just smoked him on the side of the head.
He did. And then Colonel just hightailed it out of there. I didn't think that guy could run that fast.
So Hall and Nash are your new tag team champions.
Yeah, it was a pretty meh ending. I mean, for a decent match, it was a decent match, but the ending I wasn't the greatest fan of.
It made me question WCW's booking because in the very next pay-per-view, Hall and Nash, I believe, defended the titles against the Faces of Fear, who lost on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Who did they beat to earn a title shot?
Yeah, I guess they just beat the shit out of them after the match, and I guess that warrants them a tag match.
The only tag team that won a match other than them was Psychosis and Damien.
So why did they not get it?
Was it? Let me go back and take a look here. Yeah, Psychosis and Juventud Guerrera. So, damn it, why didn't they get their tag title shot?
Yeah. You know what? We have some questions, Jesus and we Christ. Need answers.
No wonder this company went under. Juventud Guerrera was robbed of his title shot.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Dicks.
You know what? I'm done with WCW.
No more.
No more.
This is what puts us over the edge in episode 1.
Yeah. That's it. We're making it to 500 real quick.
Oh, you bet. Main event time. Brother.
Yeah, and what were your honest thoughts on a whole on just this match before we even get into it?
I thought the structure of the match was very slow. I thought it was painful to watch at points. It was purely a setup for Roddy Piper's return. It made Randy Savage look like a complete jobber.
Oh, for sure.
It did nothing for him. The weeks and weeks of build up, and we get pissed on.
And this should be a mega match, and it was terrible. This is definitely, in my opinion, the second worst match of the night, behind the Eddie and DDP match.
Having said that, Hogan only had the title since August, so it was too soon for him to lose it.
Yeah, oh, for sure. But they still could have, the match itself, I think, could have been a lot better.
This is not one of the 1989 classics that you're going to get between Hogan and Savage.
No. The best part was, I don't know what the fuck was up with Hogan's toupee.
Well, see, he said he had just finished it probably was literal. He probably said that he had just come from filming his Three Ninjas movie.
Oh, Three Ninjas.
I can, ladies and gentlemen, go and look up the Three Ninjas. And I have no doubt when he says he probably literally came straight from the set.
Probably.
Threw on an NWO shirt, got to Vegas, and went to the show.
Yeah.
So he was pimping Three Ninjas and Santa with muscles.
It looked fucking retarded. It was bad.
We'll put that on the viewing list.
Yeah.
At this point, DiBiase, he looks really bored. He lets Hogan basically do all the mic work. We have Michael Buffer doing the ring announcing, and his very first line, the main event, I'm going to do my best Buffer impression here. This main event is sanctioned by the WCW. Even if there's a lot of guys that always said the WCW.
I noticed that too.
Bret Hart was notorious for doing this.
Yeah.
So this event is sanctioned by the WCW, the NWO, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission.
And I'm pretty sure before he could even finish, for some reason, Savage's music randomly just hits.
Right. First of all, I'm picturing a meeting at the NSAC with Savage and with Eric Bischoff and with the NWO, and they're doing a contract signing actually at the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Mm-hmm. We need to see vignettes of that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So Buffer's intro was so long that the music guy jumps the gun and he hits Savage's music, and Buffer was like, "Fuck that! I'm doing my intro. I'm
How dare you fucking interrupt me?"
That's right. So Savage weighed in at 231 3/4 pounds. Before he was just 231, but he had a couple Slim Jims because they were hanging around.
They were there.
So Savage starts to come out, and he's got Slim Jims all over his jacket, on his hat, everywhere. It says "Snap Into It." I understand he was the poster child for this product, but come on, less is more. We had it on the ring posts. We had it all over the canvas. The announcers were,
plugging it every once in a while, and
they were figuratively shoving Slim Jims down our throat.
The one thing that pissed me off is when they brought that damn monster truck out that I did not win. Bullshit. Still upset. Fuck, really? Again, man, I really thought I had a chance.
Man, we gotta go to Michigan and find that woman who won it. They mentioned her name, but I didn't take note of who it was.
Either did I. I was too upset that I didn't win.
So, tons of stalling early on in this match.
I feel like it took 10 minutes for this match to, get started once the bell rang.
Was it just me, or with Hogan's short, spiky hair, his physique almost looked sickly?
He did, yeah. That's what I thought too. When they first showed him at the top in the little NWO suite there, and he was talking, I thought he looked sick, because he didn't look as jacked as he usually does.
Like, perhaps he wasn't allowed his, his medicine while he was shooting these movies. So, I don't know.
Maybe the Three Ninjas stole it.
That's right.
Little bastards.
They had to get on the gas.
Yeah, little fuckers.
So Hogan is begging off, and I find heel Hogan begging for mercy to be a thing of beauty. Because he's so over the top, and he'll throw his hands up and he'll gasp. So Savage stole his sunglasses, he stole his wig.
And he wore both.
Heenan with some more great lines. It's a convertible. Savage looks like a skunk.
Oh man, that's good. I thought it was pretty funny too when Macho Man there decided to feed Hogan his toupee. It's like a cat hanging out of his mouth.
Liz comes down looking like she's wearing a lamp from the 80s. Her dress is all very sequined and rainbowy, and it looked like a fire hazard.
Was this match... I guess this match technically, was it a non-DQ? Because there was a point there where Macho Man hits Hogan with a chair right in front of the ref, and the ref does nothing about it.
They didn't mention anything about this being no DQ.
Yeah, he just cracks Hogan with a chair, nothing happens, and then the ref takes the chair after Macho Man decides to, try to whack him again, so rips it out of his hands. Then Hogan gets a hold of it and just lays into Macho Man, which I thought was kind of weird considering the ref was right there.
Well, the ref is fairly lenient in this, and he's like, this Savage fellow deserves these chair shots.
Yeah. That's what he gets for walking out with his shitty toupee on his head.
This is what happens when Ryan doesn't win a monster truck.
Yeah. Things would have been a lot better if I wanted. I would have been a lot happier.
Job.
Yeah. A poor kid in Winnipeg, Manitoba didn't win his damn monster truck.
24 years from now.
He's still talking about it.
Okay, a bunch of shit happened. Hogan misses a leg drop. The ref gets bumped. Nick Patrick, our referee of the night, comes down to save the day. Savage hits his big elbow. Patrick counts 1. He counts 2, and just about he's ready to count 3, he grabs his neck. His neck is in so much pain. And all throughout the night, the commentators have been saying, if he's in that bad of a shape, he shouldn't be there.
Yeah. And, well, he probably shouldn't have been there considering his neck was that sore.
Savage then hits Hogan with a weapon that looked like a tampon.
Yeah, I don't even know. I watched that a few times trying to figure out exactly what that was, and I think you nailed it. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it was. I thought I saw a string. I'm not too sure. I don't use them myself, so here we are.
It's like, Liz, we need you to come down to ringside.
Yeah, we need something.
I don't know if it was a popsicle stick wrapped in toilet paper, but it looked, well, yeah.
It was bad.
That's what it looked like. The Giant runs down, and he starts attacking Savage, and he hits the lightest chokeslam on the floor you've ever seen. He was super careful to take care of Randy. So
he guided him down so well.
So good for him.
Yeah.
Papa Shango shirt guy is losing his shit. Giant rolls Savage in the ring. Hogan covers him. Nick Patrick
counts.
There.
Yeah.
Counts for the 3.
Yeah.
There is your main event. The Giant comes down with a giant bowl of ice water to the ring, and he almost spills half of it on the way to the ring.
Yeah, what was with this big cauldron? Holy Christ, this thing was huge. It was like a little trophy, like somebody just won some kind of cup.
Right. It's like the top half of the Stanley Cup was filled with ice water.
Yeah.
I don't know how he ran to the back and then came back out so quickly. And if you're gonna, the whole purpose of this was to pour the ice water on Hogan and wake him up because he had been knocked out.
Yeah.
Wouldn't a regular size water bottle also do the same thing?
I feel like if that happened to me, I would be pissed if somebody dropped that much water on me.
But no, the Giant decides to waterboard Hogan.
Maybe that was a small bottle for the Giant.
That's true. It's all in perspective.
Yeah. Now that I think of it, maybe, to us, it was like, holy shit, you kind of went overboard there. You almost drowned the man. And then Giant was like, hey, this is just a normal water bottle I drink out of.
Yeah, this is my cereal bowl.
This is my cereal bowl. What's it to you?
But yeah, he comes into the ring and he is about to pour on Hogan, but I guess I don't know if he snags the bottom of the bowl on the ring apron and he spills like a third of it in the ring. And he's looking at Liz and Liz is looking back at Giant, and Giant has this look on his face like, well, fuck.
Yeah, I fucked up. What now? What?
So
where do we go from here?
So Hogan gets woken up. He cuts a promo about how he's
the biggest name in the fucking company.
And then we hear bagpipe music, and Tony Schiavone just stops and says, sounds like bagpipes. Like, sweet Jesus, I love Tony, but get your head in the game.
Yeah, get a little more excited.
So Roddy Piper comes down. This was his debut, or I guess his re-debut in the company.
Yeah. I just like when Hogan was all shocked. First, it was funny because the bagpipes hit, and there's probably 2 minutes of Roddy's music hitting. Hogan looks confused in the ring, kind of like, I don't know what's going on, until Roddy comes out, and then he looks scared, and he's like, oh, well, I gotta hide behind the big giant here.
Like, who could possibly have this very generic music that everyone probably uses, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I could swing a dead cat and hit 10 guys that use bagpipe music.
This could be anybody. I wonder who it is.
And then Piper walks down, and all the announcers lose their minds, and
he got a big pop.
He did, and he dropped WrestleMania. He said naughty words on a WCW broadcast. You know that he was given a script, and he just looked at it and said no.
Yeah, fuck this shit.
Yeah. And he was talking for so long, they went back and forth talking about who was the bigger icon. They shake hands. Piper's ready to leave. Hogan makes a skirt joke, and then they just keep talking. There's no physicality, and they talk for so long that they just go off the air with Piper in mid promo.
Yeah, and the Giant looked actually pretty confused for most of this, just standing in the corner like, are we done yet?
We're missing our time cues, brother.
Yeah. Oh, and then I think it was awesome when Roddy looked at the Giant and he said, hey, settle down there, Sprout.
That's not the first time he said that to him.
Yeah. Like, a Sprout? Like, yeah, that's a pretty big-ass Sprout you got going on there. But honestly, for me, out of that whole back and forth between the two, when Hogan turned around and said to Piper, don't forget, when you go to the bathroom, you gotta squat in that one. I was like, whoa, that's a shot. Yeah, it was good. No, all in all, it was a decent pay-per-view going back on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought, the Cruiserweight match with Malenko and Ray I thought was awesome. I thought the tag match, the tag title match was really good. The Jericho match was really good. Even, Giant and Jeff Jarrett, they had some pretty good spots. Overall, go back and watch this. You could probably skip the main event because it's not, that part it's not.
And DDP and Eddie.
Yeah. The first 5 minutes of that was pretty good. After that, it kind of fell off a cliff. So
yeah, it was bad.
What I'd like to do is I would like to institute an unofficial AngryMarks Rewind Medal of Honor for the MVP of the shows that we're going to be reviewing. So my pick for the AngryMarks Medal of Honor goes honorable mention to Dean Malenko for his title win, but for me, the star of this show and the MVP is referee Nick Patrick.
Yeah, you know what? I'd have to go with you on that one. He definitely was pretty much the star of that whole show. And no matter what match you watched, he was selling that neck injury like it was no tomorrow.
Yeah, and it progressed to the point where he became a full-fledged NWO member. He had his match with Chris Jericho in the next pay-per-view, and so like we said, all in all, a pretty good show. Go back and watch this, but skip the main event.
I'd probably give it about a 6.5 out of 10 maybe on that one. So not too bad for a WCW pay-per-view, that's for sure.
Yeah, 1996 was a great year for them. The whole, between the start of the NWO to probably roughly about the middle of 1998, Main events on WCW shows weren't always that great, but their undercards were always stacked and, super awesome. So,
yeah, definitely go back and check it out, people. You won't be sad unless you think you're gonna, win that damn friggin' monster truck too, and you don't.
There's still hope.
There's still hope. Oh my God, I gotta put my name back in there.
Ryan, next week you've been tasked to come up with the event for episode 2.
I have, and
So,
I
why don't you lay it on me and give me the reason why you chose the particular show that you did?
Well, I hummed and hawed, and I went back through all of the, pay-per-views and everything that we have, given to us by the WWE Network. Nice plug, by the way. Here we go. $9.99 if you guys want.
It's never been $9.99 in Canada.
You know what? It sounds better that way.
It rolls off the tongue better.
It does roll off the tongue better. And to be quite honest, the one match that I've always wanted to go and watch over and over again is the street fight between Angle and Shane McMahon. So we're going to go back to the King of the Ring 2001.
Excellent. That was a fun show.
Yeah. So, we got Kurt Angle wrestling 3 times on the card, so that was always entertaining to watch. What else have we got? We have the Dudleys versus Kane and Spike Dudley.
I'm just going to quickly pull up the card here.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I just did it quickly myself.
All right, King, thank you to the ever accurate Wikipedia.
Yeah.
We've got we got Kurt Angle versus Christian. We've got Edge versus Rhino. We've got the Dudley Boys versus Kane and Spike Dudley. We've got Jeff Hardy versus X-Pac. And the semi-main, which was the real main event, the street fight between Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle. For the WWF title, Stone Cold Steve Austin defending against Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho. This was the last, I believe this was the last match for Benoit before he went in for neck surgery.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was too.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for listening to the debut episode of AngryMarks Rewind. You'll be able to find this and subsequent episodes, hopefully on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on iTunes, and on the mothership, www.angrymarks.com, your number one source for pro wrestling and mixed martial arts news and information. So thanks, Ryan, for staying up with me. And,
thanks for having me.
We will talk to you in 7 days.
Most definitely. Hope you guys all enjoyed our show, and if you guys have any comments or anything like that, feel free to hit us up on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, plugs. At Rohanunra, ROHANUNRAU, and at Sneaky Cactus. Much easier to spell.
Yeah, most certainly. SNEEKY Cactus, and I had to put 2 E's because somebody had actually spelled Sneaky Cactus right.
I bet it was that woman. It was that woman from Michigan who won the truck.
I am going down to Michigan. I will be back in 7 days for the next show.
And you're going to be driving back in style.
I will be driving back in a Slim Jim truck.
All right, everyone. For Ryan Joseph, it's Rowan Unruh saying thank you and good night.